Very good evening, everyone. So time is 7 o'clock. So let us start day two session. Once again, on behalf of MTC Global Family, I extend a hearty welcome to all of you for day two session. And we have with us Dr. Vasanthi ma'am. Already ma'am has joined sometimes back. Thank you so much, ma'am, for your presence. And I request ma'am to kindly please take over. Thank you so much.
Good evening, everybody. Warm welcome back. I hope the screen and my voice is clear. Let's move ahead. I hope everything went well in yesterday's session. And if you have any doubts, please make a note of it. So at the end of the session, we can discuss. Today as well, I would request you to have a paper and pen with you, or pencil or paper, pen, so that we can have a small, an activity which will ensure that you take away something as you go after the session. So here goes. I am unable to make it large. I do not know because yesterday also we had the same issue. Is it visible? The screen, is that sufficient? Hello? Is the screen clear enough? Okay, I'll
Yes,
just
ma'am.
go ahead. Okay, fine. So yesterday we discussed about how best we can structure the research paper. We looked into the three important sections of a research article, and how we need to focus, because we usually focus on the second part of the article and not the first and the last one. So we discussed about the abstract, how to frame a title, and the importance of keywords, and how to identify the keywords and include it in our research study. So I'm going to now discuss about referencing style, because yesterday I also showed you all about how literature review is done, and what are the new methods that are adopted for reviewing literature. So now I also mentioned that review of literature and the referencing, or the bibliography, that section, the third section, is very much connected. And many a times experts would just go through your referencing or your bibliography, and then they can predict or just tell about how well your study is. It is that important. So we will be discussing about that now. They are different. I don't know, it's not moving. Is it moving? Is other slides moving, please?
Yes, ma'am, they are
Oh,
moving.
thank you. So now we'll be talking about the citation and referencing. Now, when these are the topics that we'll be discussing today. We'll be talking about the Scopus Index Management Journal, because everybody's talking about Scopus now. So why that much of importance for Scopus? So we'll speak about that, and then about citation, and then about the referencing style. But I'll be focusing more on the APA, that is the American Psychological Association style, because that's the most commonly used referencing style for the social sciences stream. IEEE, that is Institute of Electrical and Electronics Engineers, they have a specific style. I'll show that also for those who are from the engineering stream. And it's not only that, the IEEE also invites papers from the management stream as well. So if you're writing an article for such a journal, or maybe for a conference paper, you would need that. Whereas the MLA, Chicago, there's so many other styles. Once you understand how to identify and do the APA styling, that will not be difficult for you to manage with the other styles. So I thought I'll do the activity for one style, keeping in mind which will be the best for all of us. And secondly, which will help us to identify or how to use the other different styles in case the journal guidelines prescribes. So this is what will be the takeaway of this session today. Now, first of all, yesterday we had also somebody asked this question, and I answered it yesterday itself. But what is reference and bibliography? Because we mentioned at the end of the paper, right? There is a difference. Usually, we tend to use it very interchangeably. We use this word referencing and bibliography, but there is a difference. Reference means all those literature that you have reviewed and you have used it. Okay, you have mentioned it in your manuscript. Okay, some ABC in the year 2000, so and so. I'll show you some examples a little later. So all that which is taken from someone, you have taken from someone, and you have mentioned that in your manuscript, it could be in the abstract, it could be in the introduction part, it could be in the literature review part, or sometimes even in the conclusion part. You would have referred somebody's study. In such case, that is called as a reference. Whereas a bibliography, on the other hand, may not be mentioned in your literature, may or may not be mentioned in your literature, but you would have referred that for some information. Maybe like, for example, I have referred here, I see Ms. Somya here, or Dr. Somya here. So if I have referred her article, then I'm mentioning Somya 2024. That means in the year 2024, she has published that paper. I've mentioned, and then she has mentioned something about the importance of using a particular article for, or a particular metal, or source or something like that, which is good for, maybe I'm doing a study on some chemical process or something, and I am mentioning that it's because somebody is asking me, how did you get that answer? So before they can ask me through, because I'm not speaking directly, right? When I am writing an article, somebody is reading it, and they might ask, how did you get to know this? So supposing I say the GDP is so and so, I give a number. How did you get to know that? So I'm giving a source that it is from the official Gazette 2024. So like that, when I say Dr. Somya 2024, it means that an article that she published in 2024 mentions this. So I am citing this. So a reference basically is giving acknowledgement to someone who has done it, who has already done his study. That's the significance of reference. And many a times, the kind of references you make in your paper enhances the value of your paper as well. So that's the significance. Whereas on the other hand, a bibliography may not be a reference. It may be only something which you have gone through for your knowledge. Now, for example, I'm doing a study on, say, the level of the stress level. These are simple things, so that's why I'm using this example. Or work-life balance of salespeople, or maybe constable, because their stress level of stress is very high. They don't have place to sit properly. Traffic police, especially. So, supposing we are doing a study on that particular section. So in that case, maybe I read somewhere, so that becomes a reference. But supposing I have asked a constable, I've just discussed with them and found something, and then based on that, I am trying to reframe my research design or the research problem. All that comes under bibliography. Okay. So that's the main difference between a reference and a bibliography. I have just given a tabulated format just to understand the comparison between a reference and bibliography. Because the reason why I'm emphasizing is because some journals will mention only references. They don't want bibliography. That's the meaning. That means you are mentioning only those articles, those literature which you have reviewed and entered or mentioned in your literature, in your in your manuscript. So guidelines might prescribe something like that. If they don't prescribe, then you're writing both your reference as well as your bibliography. Okay, so sometimes those guidelines will be there. So that's the meaning. So one is meaning you've already understood it. So usually reference is based on primary sources. Primary sources here means you yourself have gone. Yesterday I showed you how you use the Prisma model to identify and then come down to the actual important literature that you require for your study. So this is the primary source. In bibliography, it includes both the primary as well as the secondary source. When it comes to arrangement, it is alphabetically and numerically numbered. That is arranged. That means, again, I'll show that in the article. Okay, I'll do it a little later. So in the reference, you all know in the end we write the reference, right? It will be alphabetically. You put it as 1 2 3 4, fine. So the same way, but it will be alphabetically written. Now say here I have Anjali, I have Tejaswini. So Anjali will come first, then Tejaswini, because A comes first and then T comes later. So that way, alphabetically arranged. And it's not, I think it's easy for you to arrange it, because we have that option using the word format as well. So not a problem. Then so it's not necessary that you have to manually do it. You can do it there. You have the arrange. You can arrange it using the word file itself. Then what it includes? It includes in-text citations. What's an in-text citation? When you're writing an article, you can use the source itself there. Okay, I'll show you that example as well, because I have another example coming further. So before that, I thought let me finish this and then go to that. Okay, so I'll just tell you what's an in-text citation when I come to that section. Okay, so in case of bibliography, it is both in-text citations and other sources as well, because includes both. And the supporting document, a reference can be used to support an argument. Like I said, if supposing I gave this example of doing a study on the stress level of or the work life balance of a constable. In such a case, if somebody has already done a study, it becomes much more easier for me to emphasize my statement there, saying that it is not only in a place, let us say Mysore. I did a study in Mysore, and I find that the stress level is very high. And someone else has done a study in, let us say, Chennai, and they too have found the same. So I can use that as a statement, saying that maybe XYZ who did a study in, one more thing, please remember that your literature should not be very old. Okay, maximum they say 10 years, not above that. So the lesser better. So supposing somebody has done a study in 2022, and the study that I've done now is also similar. So I can say the constables in Chennai as well as the constables in Mysore seem to have the same kind. So how do I say that? So this reference is used as a supporting argument to support my argument. But a bibliography cannot be used in that way, because it need not be an art. If it's an article, it's a reference. If it's not an article, it's something that I presume it's a what do you say, I've asked somebody and I'm getting information from that person. Maybe I spoke to a constable, I spoke to a sub inspector, or a retired inspector, and I'm getting some information, that cannot be actually used. Or maybe they have written to me a letter giving me information about this, or it's a blog that I've gone through, and I see that and then I mention. Okay, so that way. And usually the reference is used for theses and dissertations, and bibliography is used for journal paper and research work. Usually that's how it is, but you use it for journals as well. So this is basically the difference between referencing and bibliography. And now, as we go further, I hope things are clear. Is there anything else you want me to explain? Is this clear? Shall we go to the next point? Because this is totally a different one, topic
Yes,
that I'm.
yes. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you, thank you. So this is basically about referencing and bibliography. Now, the next point that we are going to is about scopus, because everywhere else we hear people talking about scopus. Is your paper published in a scopus journal? So this has become a buzzword among most of the academicians across. So what is this scopus? Many of you know that it's a part of Elsevers, and it's a database of journals. So it's like a huge basket full of journals, and that basket is called a scopus, as simple as that. Okay, and it has so much of value. The reason is because I'll just show you this diagram. I think that will make you understand better, because the data that I mentioned here, you can also easily get it. So it doesn't, you will not you will feel okay. It has like it says, it covers 36,377 titles. Okay, so you can understand in each title how many other active titles and articles will be there. So let's not go into that. You might not appreciate that. But then here, this is what will make you understand why Scopus is considered so valuable to have an article published in one of the Scopus journals. You understand, in that basket, any one of those journals, if my article comes there, it's considered to be a very privileged thing. Why? See now, if you can look at this, this is, I've taken this directly from the website of Scopus. So the data mentioned is very clear, and this is this data is somewhere January 2024. So what it says, see, they have this kind of filtration system. So how's the filtration? They have 3,500 title suggestions every year on an average. That's what they say. Okay. And out of that, see how they screen and they bring it down. So then only 51% meet that criteria that, is required by Scopus. So they have set some criteria, and only those title suggestions which have been suggested, those titles which match those criteria prescribed by Scopus will be chosen. So out of 3,500, 51% will meet. This is their average, which they are telling. Okay. And from that, 48% are accepted after some reviews, that they have some criteria of reviewing. And then finally, see, out of 3,500, only 857 are passed. So this is, so you can understand. So if among this 8,507, if I am able to choose that article and a journal, and if my article is accepted there, it becomes to say that you have done something up to that standard, only then you are accepted. They it takes some time as well. So that is the concept, or the whole objective, or what makes it so very something that you wish to pursue. And the next, you have something else called as the Web of Science. So this Web of Science is something like a, you can say, a competitor, or a coexister, co-sister, something like that, of Scopus. So it's a some it's this is from Elsevier, whereas Scopus is from Elsevier, whereas Web of Science is from Clarivate Analytics. So it was previously called as Thomson Reuters. We don't have to worry about that. Just telling you, just keeping you posted. And this is usually a paid access platform. So there are two ways. One is a paid access, one is you don't pay, but you just publish it. The difference is like this: if I pay, then the person who's reading the article need not pay, and he or she can read my article. So my chances of being cited becomes higher. My chances of, because more people can read it, right? That's the thing. Whereas in case of an unpaid platform, where I'm publishing my article, it could be on Scopus also, it could be on Web of Science. Usually Web of Science is always paid usually. So if mine is unpaid, then the reader has to pay and buy if he wants to read. So if you look at IGI Global, there it is, it's a paid access platform. So I have some articles in IGI Global, and if you want to read any of those articles, you will have to pay and read it. So what happens is my citation becomes less, because most of the people, you can get access to so many other articles. Why choose mine, right? So you will go to any other article which is free. That free means that the the author would have paid for it. So that is a general differentiation. Now, coming back to Scopus, Scopus content includes two kinds of publications. One is this ISSN number, and the other one is ISBN. Many of you must be knowing the difference between ISSN and ISBN. ISSN stands for International Standard Serial Number. When you say serial, you can understand what a serial is. This TV serial and all, something like that. What does a serial mean? Something that continues. It has a continuation. It's a process. So it may be monthly, it may be weekly, it may be quarterly, it may be yearly, whatever. Okay. So journals are a serial publication. So such publications will have an ISSN number. Whereas a textbook, it will have editions, but it won't be a serial, right? So such textbooks are called, come under ISBN, and ISBN stands for International Standard Book Number. I think I'm making myself clear. The next is, now why citation. Now here, this is what I said. I'll be showing you, I'll just show you an example of what is citing. Okay. So if somebody cites your article, it means that they found it good, or they found you have given some information, and that's why they have taken it. So you have two things. One is an in-text citation and end of paper citation. I'll do one thing. I'll just share this citation, in-text citation, so that you understand, you will be able to see. Just give me a moment. Yeah, I have to remove this, stop presenting. Yeah, is it visible? It's visible to me, but yeah, I think it's presenting. Can you see this? Is it visible? Can you see this 1.2 discussion just
Yes,
next
madam.
to, yeah, just next to 1.2? Let me see this. I'll just enlarge it. This is a Word file, so I'm able to enlarge. Can you see, after a recent study, there is a number, numerical number 1. And if I just go across that, it gives some information. Can you see that? Wait, I'll show it again. Now, can you see that? Source, Wegner Philip, March 30, 2022. The whole source is mentioned there. Can you see that? Is it visible?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so this is an insight, in text citation. Similarly, as I go further, and it is, it continues like this. Like you just have to go to the source reference and keep on adding, and that continues. This is the second one. Can you see? Source Gupta, Arushi, Gupta, Arushi, November 16, 2021. Chip shortage and its impact on India. See, this way. And when you come down, you can see the source mentioned here. This is called an in-text citation. This is called an in-text. It's inside the text citation. Okay. Now I go back to, yeah, I hope you have understood what is in-text citation now. And end of paper citation is the references that we do, or you're putting your sources there. That is the end of paper citation. So these are the two important citations. Now, why do we have to do this citation? I told you it is very much linked to your review of literature. So why do we need these two? One is it shows academic integrity. That means it does not amount to plagiarism, is what I mentioned. It means that you have not stolen, you're acknowledging. So there's a difference between acknowledging and stealing it. You obviously you can't meet every author and speak to him and say, can I use yours? So this method that has been adopted by the library science, or the people involved in this, they acknowledge the author. They have given this option of acknowledging the author and saying that, if I've taken a particular idea, it could be even photographs also, that also comes under plagiarism if you don't give the acknowledgement. So therefore, we can say that the importance of citation is you're giving academic integrity. The second one is you're identifying source of our research study. From where did we get this? Where did we get this information? Sometimes, yesterday we spoke about research gap as well. So how did you identify research gap? So then I say I was impressed by a study like this, written by so and so, and then I went over, because if you are doing your PhD, and they can ask you this question, what made you choose this topic? So you have this option of saying that I read a particular article, and then I went over to please excuse me. I'm sorry. That was an important call I couldn't miss. I'm extremely sorry about that. So, when it comes to importance I was talking about, next one is it helps us to identify the source of our research study. That is, from where we have collected it, or what gave us the option or interest, gave us the interest to go further. It gives us a source. It helps us. So, it also, see, the reference helps someone, like supposing, let us say, this lady called Sunita Kumari, who's in our group now. She has written some article, and then after reading that, I feel I need to know more about it. So I go to the reference. She would have mentioned that XYZ has mentioned something about it. I want to know more about it. I can go to the reference section, check out the web page, and then the article, and then go back and read more about it. So it helps the reader to go to seek more information. It also helps people to verify the information. So many things, that is the importance of citation, and that's the reason I said people who are well versed in research, they can just look at your reference and then decide how well your paper has been written. Because if you feel that a research, you referencing means just write whatever you want, that can easily be identified by a seasoned researcher. And then, now, when to cite? The next point is when. So you have understood what is citation and the importance. Now, when do you cite? Whenever we borrow, or some idea, or maybe it's an image, a photograph, it could be a diagram. No, whenever you're doing that, you're borrowing, then that's when you're citing. Yeah, I see somebody raising their hands. Yes, Miss Kansa Shaima, is there anything any problem?
No, ma'am. No, ma'am. Go ahead.
Okay.
Thank you.
So one is when we borrow a quote, maybe a quotation, somebody has quoted something, or when we borrow an idea, or even if we paraphrase also. Paraphrase means, there's a sentence and we put it in our own, in our own way, in the way we can understand, or we put it in simpler words, maybe, or much more complicated words, maybe. So that is paraphrasing. So even then you have to cite. And as I said, it could be a methodology, it could be figure, it could be image, for all these you will have to cite all these. Whenever you take it from someone, you need to make a citation. And the next is impact factor. We look at journals, and some people ask, what's the impact factor of the journal? And then they say 6 point something, another says 2 point something. Then we feel, okay, if it is more, it is good. So what is this impact factor? Impact factor means it shows, now supposing the impact factor is 2, that means less number of people have used the contents of that. Content means the articles in a journal for their reference. If it is 6, that means it is more, that means more number of people. And then there is a way of calculating, we need not worry about it. Okay, that's the library science, they formulate it, so we don't have to worry about it as researchers. Just telling you because it's important that we get to know what's the difference between a 2 point something or a 1 point something or point something. The impact factor of a journal and a journal having 7 point, 6 point or something like that. Okay, some journals can be extremely good, but their citations might be less. Maybe it's not, they are very new. That is also there. And another thing in between that we need to be aware is there are many ghost journals as well. So we need to be very much aware as to where we are sending our paper for publication and getting it done, because sometimes the publication would have stopped, and there would be these ghost journals who borrow those titles and then give it out to people or publicize to people, and we fall prey to it, and we feel it is a part of the UGC list or all those things, and then we end up paying for it. So that we need to be a little careful. Then this is just the general thing, a more theoretical like idea of this factor. Impact factor came somewhere in 1955 by a person called Eugene. So that's it. Now Web of Science, they too have they call it as the immediacy index. They call it in that way. And yeah, there are other citation metrics. One is called as the H index. H index is number of times an author has been cited through the number of publications that he has made. There's a link between that. Then the cite score, this is a new journal metric by Elsevier. And yeah, so this is basically about it. And one thing that we need to remember, the pure science stream, the engineering stream, usually their citations are always high if you look at it. But when it comes to the social sciences, like the MBA, the MCom, the law, then MSW, all these things, all these kind of studies, psychology, they all come under social science stream and the humanities stream. So usually it takes longer to cite papers and cite more books. And citation articles are likely to be higher in an index that draws from database. That is the reason why people go for Scopus. Because they feel that is more, more people will go there, but looking for articles. So I want to publish there. So that is another reason why Scopus is so very popular. And yeah, so now I think you've understood how citing will benefit you. So if you put in so much of effort to write an article, and if somebody cites that article, it is a compliment for you. So the more citations happen, the more compliments you get. So that is the reason why people try to go into journals which more people will go looking for. And then it's something like, if you want to buy a new dress or a new sari or something, and there's a special occasion, you will go into a shop which will give you the best of the options, right? Because you want compliments. Why do you dress well? We dress for others, we eat for ourselves, right? So if you're dressing up, you're dressing to please people, or to make them feel, you feel happy when they compliment you. Citing is, I'm just giving a simile, that's all. Okay, so this is how it is. So that in the academic circles, so citing benefits us in that particular way. So this is the first half of this session. Before I go to referencing styles, is there anything I need to clarify? Hello. Okay. Thank you so much, Mr. Shrikant. So now we are going to the popular referencing styles. This I'm just going to glide through because it's not very difficult, or it's not something like a rocket science that we need to follow. So that is why. And as I said, we'll have a small activity based, an activity basically, so that you understand how to do the other styles as well. It is not going to be very difficult. So here the most popular style is the APA style that I mentioned first, followed by the MLA style of referencing. Then you have so many other styles, like the Chicago style is also quite common, but not as common as the APA style. The other things that I have mentioned is all the the theoretical part, which you can easily get from the internet, or any maybe journals, and so on. The Turabian style of referencing, Harvard style of referencing, and the IEEE style of referencing. Other than this, there are so many other styles of referencing. It's mind-boggling. Anyway, so let us. I have one. I found an image which I felt was. Something like a bird's eye view of all this, because if I am going to all this one at a time, it can be very confusing. Honestly, it becomes very confusing. So to make it simple, I chose this image which I found on the internet, and I felt that this will be easy for you to understand and follow. See, here they have put MLA style and who uses them. So for English literature, foreign language communications, religious studies, so humanities, you can say. So MLA style is usually used there. Even APA also is used, but I'm just usually. Then when it comes to the APA style, psychology, education, business, economics, nursing, linguistic studies, there they usually use the APA style. The Chicago style, history, fine arts, anthropology, philosophy, all that comes under the Chicago style. IEEE, I told you earlier as well, engineering, computer science, information science, and even when they ask for some management streams, they will insist that the author writes the referencing. So all these are referencing styles, okay? So all these references should follow that particular format. So when I show you how one of the format is done, then you'll be able to easily understand the other formats. And the last one is CSE format. This is for basically followed by the basic science, that is physics, chemistry, biology, that stream. They usually use that CSE style. So now I'm going to the I think, yeah, these are the other general styles. Many of us would not have even understood or seen this kind of styles, but they are these kind of styles. Now, and maybe some journals might insist that you follow that particular style, and there's nothing to worry, because when a journal prescribes a particular style, even if it is APA, they will give you a an example which you can follow. APA sometimes they don't give, but that is since it's very commonly used, you can easily find it. And moreover, if you're using something like Mendeley, Zotero, and all, you don't even have to frame the style; it will do it for you. The system itself will do it for you. So you have this linguistic style, MHRA style, CSE, I already told you, Blue Book, ASA, AP style, and so on. So these are some of the other styles. Just for information, I just added this for information. Now let's go into the APA. It's called as the American Psychological Association, and this is the most commonly used referencing style. So that's why I chose this. How do we go about it? Now here, this is how I have taken this an example. Okay, this again is an image, but it gave a very clear picture, so that's why I've taken this. See, now they have written Sullivan PF 2005, the genetics of schizophrenia, PLOS medicine, 2 bracket 7 E212.doi, some number, journal dot dash, and some number. So this is the reference that you see. Okay. So this means the first part, see, this part is I think I can draw and show you. See, this part is, this Sullivan is the name of the author. Okay, but when you're writing the author name, you should write the no, surname first and followed by the name. So now if it is, my name is Reena Williams, I'm writing Williams comma Reena. Okay, please remember, because we require it for the activity that we are going to do now. So I hope you got it. Now Sullivan PF. Okay, so they have already given the name, but maybe his name is PF Sullivan. So you can see this comma here. Can you see the comma here? So Sullivan, comma PF. So that means PF is his first name, Sullivan is his surname. So Sullivan, comma PF, and then followed by this, the APA format. So followed by the year. This year 2005 is the year that this article was published. Maybe he sent this for publication in 2004. It took a year for publication. The year of publication is taken into consideration. So 2005 is the year that this particular author's article got published. Which article is the third section, that is the genetics. Okay, so this is the title here, is the after the year you mentioned that, followed by the name of the journal. The name of the journal, whichever journal that article was published, will be mentioned next. And this 2 bracket 7, 2 is the volume and 7 is the issue number, in case it is edition, all that is mentioned here. And the digital object identifier, or DOI, you know, this is mentioned in the end. In case DOI is not available in the study that you have downloaded, or you have gone through, you referred, it's not there, you can mention the website address, and you can mention that it was retrieved on that particular day. You can mention that and say that it was retrieved from this particular website. So you can take that website and include it if the DOI is not available. Now, what's the DOI? A DOI is a specific number which is not, like now if I talk about ISSN, I told you the journal number will be the same throughout because it is a journal. So if I buy the January edition, if I buy the December edition, the ISSN number will be the same. Only the volume and the issue will change. So I have to mention the volume and the issue. That's the reason why we are mentioning the volume and issue here. Okay, ISSN will be the same. Whereas in case of digital object identifier, for each article you have one specific number which will not change. The reason is because more and more people have started doing research, more and more importance given to research. So there's so much of articles flooding. So to identify it becomes difficult, and that's the reason why they have done that. Okay, so I hope that is understood. Yeah, this is again a quick reference. The one which I told you, the example that I gave you was for a journal. Okay, now for citing something from a book, you have a different method. For citing something from a book, let me not use this at all. Okay, so if I let it be. So if I'm not using it in a book, from a a textbook or something, I have a different way of presenting. If it is an ebook, then I have a different way of presenting. Small changes. And if it's a website page, there's a method of presenting. So these are not very difficult, or it's not necessary to by heart. If you have understood the journal aspect, then the others is going to be simple. And as I told you, if you use the reference managers, like I said, Zotero, these are most common. You can it'll do it for you. So there's let's not break our heads on that. Now coming to the journals, supposing the journal is following the APA style, or if the journal is following the MLA style, then what do? So usually in the APA style, title page is required. I told you what's the title page yesterday. So you have the author's name and affiliation, so on and so forth, along with the title of the article. That is required in an APA style formatted. So when, if the article itself says that, you'll know that they have followed the, I mean, the journal itself mentions that, you'll know that they are following the APA style. In the MLA, they don't require that. They don't use a title page immediately. The spacing is usually double spaced in both. The font size and margin usually Times New Roman. So even if they don't mention it, you understand that, don't use your own font style. Times New Roman is always a safe style, or followed by Arial. You can use the Arial style as well. So font margin is Times New Roman 12 font, and 1 inch margin, all four sides. Then the headings and subheadings are there in case of the APA style, whereas in MLA it is not recommended, but you can, it's always good to put it, at least you can give sections like 1.0, 2.0, or 1.1, 1.2, 1.3, and so on. Next is direct in text quotation. So see, I'll show you this. This is another, you saw what I have done. One is that referencing style. I'll show you this direct in text quotation as well. In case of APA, you're mentioning the name of the author and the year and maybe the page number as well. Whereas in MLA, you're just mentioning John and that page number, that's all. That is the author and the page number. You're not writing the year. Now here, this means, like, if I mentioned a sentence, okay, I'm see, it's their example of the cited work. It's there down, as you can see, as I'm the cursor, as I'm moving the cursor. Before that, I'll go to indirect in text quotation. Indirect is John, and I've just written the year. I've not specified it as page number. And see, in MLA, it is according to John. This is a controversial case, and then I've just mentioned the page. In order of citation is alphabetical in both, and the bibliography name, references, and here you're mentioned as work cited. In APA, you're mentioning it as references. In MLA, instead of writing references in the end of the paper, you're mentioning it as work cited. And how do you do the references in APA? So now you have written here the author. So it is V. Adona. You have written it. Yeah, you understand, no? So you're writing the surname first, comma, and then the person's name. Here there are two people who have authored it. They published it in the year 2010. And this is the title: Quantifying the effect of performance enhancing drug use on fastball velocity in Major League Baseball. And which journal? Journal of whatever. Then all this. Okay. Whereas in MLA style, it is a little different. They don't put the year. Everything else is almost the same, and the name is fully written. The year is always put marked somewhere at the end. Okay. So this is one. I'll show you this in citation here. This I'll show this when I show you the examples. So yeah, in text citations, this is for the Harvard style, APA, Chicago, MLA style. See, as I told you, I'm just showing it to you for you to know the difference. But when you're looking at it for the first time, you'll feel that it all looks almost the same, because they've used the same author to show how different it can be. That's all. So, Mr. Vaibhav, can you please mute? So here, when you're looking at this, see here, small differences. Here, the year is mentioned like this, whereas in APA style, it's in brackets. Here, again, there is no bracket, and you have mentioned you're not using the ampersand, you're using and, the full form. And in MLA, usually the year is marked at the end. So it looks a little complicated, but when we start writing, I don't think it will be as difficult. And the IEEE style, I mentioned APA. I'm emphasizing on APA and IEEE because these are IEEE is encouraging a lot of management studies. IEEE is also using a lot of encouraging a lot of management studies as well, and hence it is good to know these two. So that is the reason. You see, IEEE the examples are usually like this. So in the APA style, we found the year, right? We found the name of the person. Like for example, we saw the previous one, John, comma 2017, and it was in brackets. Whereas in IEEE, you don't write all that. You only write numerical. So when it is 13, it means in the reference that you have written reference, the first, second, third, fourth, the 13th one is the one which is from where you have quoted. That's the meaning. And if it is one, that means in your reference you have written the first one. That is the one. That's the meaning. And here in IEEE, you don't go alphabetically. It is as per the order. So in your study, which was the first one you cited, that will be the first one in your reference. That will be one. Whereas in APA, what you're doing is you're arranging it in an alphabetical order. So maybe the first citation that you did in your text could be the fifth or 18th one. It could be your 20th one also. Whereas in case of IEEE, it's different. I hope I'm making myself clear. Now, if you look at this example, several recent studies 3, 4, 15, 22. This means that the third article, the fourth article, the 15th article, and 22 have all mentioned the same thing. This is the meaning. Okay. Yeah, see, as you can see, if I see that number one, then I go to the reference and then I see who is that number one. So it is Smith, Jo, and so on. This is how I identify. That's the difference between major difference between IEEE and the APA. MLA is just small difference between that and this. See here, this is a direct difference you can see between the IEEE and the APA style. In IEEE style, see, you can see this one. So it will go like this, and the bracket will be a square back bracket. It won't be this rounded bracket. It will be a square bracket. And then the name of that person. You can see both the examples are the same, but the styles are different. This is the IEEE style and this is the APA style. So in the IEEE style, you have one T Davenport, the name of the person, okay? And the title is Successful Knowledge Management Projects. Sloan Management Review is the name of the journal, volume, page, so and so, and the year it was published. Whereas in APA style, you have the author, then followed by the year, then this is the title, followed by the journal where it was published, then the volume issue. Usually it is like this. This is the volume. Here you write VOL, but here there's not. It's not necessary. When you say the first number is usually the volume, and what is written in brackets will be the issue number, and this is the page. That is how it is done. Now here I found one more image which I felt, when it is instead of me writing and describing, I found this is more easy to follow, because otherwise it looks all confusing. You can follow the color code so you can understand. See, when you look at APA, Chicago, and MLA style, if you, I'm not going to the Chicago, I'm just looking at APA and MLA style because they are the most common. So this is the name. So you see both have written in almost the same way, but D is the first name of this person. So you have written David L. Rosenhan. You have written Rosenhan, comma DL. Whereas in MLA, you have written Rosenhan, comma David L. Then next comes the year, right? In APA, you're writing the year, but in MLA, the year is here. See the color code. This is here, but here you're writing it here. Next is the title, On Being Sane in Insane Places. So it is the same throughout. Okay. Next, that means this is the second, but here it is after the year. Then this is the name of the journal, that is Science Journal. Okay. And then this is the volume, the one in pink. You can see this is the volume. Here also they have put the volume. The year comes here, followed by the page. 250 to 258. This is put together, and the DOI is put here, whereas here they put the web address, and 4th May 2016, or whatever, the day it was retrieved. That is what is mentioned here. Um, Now, coming to citation management tools, we have several tools. So I put whatever I could find, the images that I could find, I just put it across, uh, which we see here. But other than this, the most common are these, that is, Mendeley, EndNote, then this RefWorks and Zotero, and these two are more common. Mendeley and Zotero are much more easily used. And for the social science, I mean the pure sciences, basic sciences, they use a lot of this latex free software. So if there is anyone here, if you're using that, you can use that also. And the IEEE, I wrote it because of those following the IEEE journals. If you are publishing there, in that case you can write it using the latex software. So is this how you're feeling after seeing the going through this session? I don't know. Is this you feeling it, you do not know what to do with all these styles, and all of them look the same, and what is right and what is wrong. So now let us have a small exercise. I would request all of you to please take a pen and a sheet of paper. You don't have to write what is here, you can look at it and then you can write. Okay, so let's follow the APA style of referencing. Okay, now I have written one, the author name. I just wrote a common name. You can write your name as well, there's no issues at all. Please write your own name. Second is the year of publication. Let us use this year, 2024. Then volume, again you can use whatever volume you want, you can write that, or you can write what is mentioned here, it is 11. And then the issue, again you can write whatever your number, but please ensure that all these things are followed. Okay, then the page number, then the title of the article. I have mentioned it as how to become a mega star, you can write whatever you want. And then you can say how to become a good researcher, maybe that's the title of your article. And the published international journal of something. So I've just given a pseudo name. This is all just pseudo. Okay, it's not something which is real, this is just an exercise. And international, I just wrote these names because it's easy to recollect, that's why. And published in International Journal of Film Stars, and DOI I have given some number. Okay, so this is the content, or this is the information that I'm sharing with you. Could you please try and write in the APA style? I think Ms. Somya will already be knowing how to write. She would have already written also, like she did yesterday, and she gave a very nice title. Very nice title, of course. So the I don't want to tell her, but for the others, if you're trying it for the first time, or you're still not very familiar with the referencing styles, I think this exercise will definitely help you. So could you please try? There's a message. Okay. Dr. Maharajan, you said something. The last point, I suppose, is interchanged. I didn't get you. Dr. Maharajan, are you there? Please let me know if you're finished.
Excuse me, madam.
Yeah.
After publication, we should mention here, or else just a simple.
I didn't get you. Please come back.
After publication of an article,
Yeah.
then we should mention this content, or else just imaginary we need to mention.
No, no, that is the reason. In case you're not able, I'm just showing you how to write the APA style of referencing. Uh, I'll show you the article. I think that will be better then. Then I'm giving away the answer. Okay, I'll just show you that. Just a minute, please. I'll share. I'm just sharing. Yes, if you could just see this referencing style, what I mentioned here. Can you see this? Can you see the slides, please?
Yes, ma'am.
So here the reference and bibliography that is mentioned, I cannot just write like this. You know what I mentioned written here is the APA style. That is the meaning. I hope I answered your question,
Yes,
or
ma'am.
is it something else you're asking me?
Nothing, madam.
When we are writing the references, we have to follow a particular style. That's this reference, whatever I've mentioned here, I have to use a particular style. It could be the MLA style, it could be the Chicago style, it could be the Vancouver style, it could be the APA style, or the IEEE style. I cannot write whichever style I want. I have to follow the Mr. Vaibhav, can you please mute your mic? Mr. Vaibhav,
Yes, 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 ma'am.
please mute your mic.
Yeah, yeah.
Mr. Satish, so when you're writing the bibliography or the reference, the journal to whom you're, Mr. Vaibhav, it is you're disturbing, please.
Yes, 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 ma'am. I'm trying to switch it off, but I'm
It's
not.
not coming, is it? Yeah, yeah.
Good
So
evening,
when
ma'am.
you write,
Good evening, ma'am.
yes.
Ma'am, I have just, written this in the APA style. Can you please check and let me know?
Yeah, I'll check out. Let me first finish answering
Yeah, sure, ma'am.
Mr. Satish, because I
Sure, ma'am.
think he is still not very clear about
No
the
problem, no problem.
referencing style.
No, ma'am.
So I'm just trying to tell him that the journal will prescribe the kind of style, and we have to follow that.
Yes,
Even
yes.
if you're writing you're doing your PhD, the particular university will have its own style, and it will mention that you have to follow that style,
Exactly,
and
exactly.
then you will have to do it. So that
True.
is what I'm just trying to tell him. i
Yes.
hope uh, I hope Mr. Satish, did you understand? Did you get it?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Please don't hesitate, okay? If you have not understood, we are here to help you out.
Okay, madam. Thank you, madam.
Yeah, well, you're welcome. Yes, now. Oh, there are already answers. Wonderful. This is Venkatesh P. Khan, Shahrukh, 2024, How to Become a Mega Star, 11, bracket 6, 14 to 16, International Journal of Film Star, DOI is given the number. Dr. Namita, she is mentioned, Shahrukh Khan, 2024, How to Become Mega Star, volume, international. So what I'll do is, uh, okay, Mr. Venkatesh says, sorry, I forgot to write volume in front of number. And then Sunita Kumari is also mentioned. Then Dr. Maharajan is also mentioned. Okay, so shall we go to the answer now? Okay, I have mentioned it here, so you can see this. Can you see this now? So you can refer to what you have written and see whether it is correct or wrong. Okay, so here, Khan Dr. Sorry, Khan Dr. Comma Shahrukh. If you have written that, then you get 100 marks for that. In bracket, you have written the year 2024, then full stop. How to become a mega star. That's the title, right? So if you have written that, then again you get another 100 marks. And then International Journal of Film Stars. Now, here I would like to highlight and tell you, because there I was showing you in small and something like, there were images and all that. This Journal of Film Stars, if you have written it straight now, that's not a problem. It should be in italics. It should be in italics. Okay. Then comes the but if you have written it not in italics, still you get 100 points. Then comes the volume, that is 11. In bracket, 6 is the issue, pp is the page, 14 to 16. Then comes DOI. So all those who have written it this way, 100 marks, 1000 marks. Yeah. So wonderful. I think, no worries whether you have got it right or wrong, because you have attempted, so once you understand this, it will be the same format throughout. Only thing is, if it is MLA style, the journal would give you an example and tell you how to do it. And as I just have a few more slides where I'll tell you how, if you have this, the Mendeley or Zotero, it will do it for you. You don't have to worry about, you just have to mention that it is the MLA style, and it will give you, the format, the whole thing for you. You don't even have to type all this. Okay. But it's good that we know. That is the reason, because if we know the basics, everything becomes even if there is some slight changes, you will not have a problem in correcting. We should not be too much dependent on technology also sometimes. So it's good to know, and that's the reason I'm sharing this now. If this is clear, I just want to add one more thing. So please remember, whatever you all have written is correct. I mean, now you have understood, where, if in case you have written wrong, you understand, or if you know where to correct. Only thing that you have to make change, which I have not mentioned earlier, is this International Journal of Film Stars. The name of the journal should be in italics. The name of the journal should be mentioned in italics. Okay. Everything else is the same. Now, I have written some small points here so that I don't forget. In case the DOI is missing, okay, in case DOI is missing from that article that you have chosen, so the DOI will be there. If you download the article, the name of the journal will be there, all that. So if you are not having the DOI mentioned, in such case, you are mentioning this retrieved on, can you see this? Retrieved on 9th February 2024 from, and then that website. You can copy paste it. Okay. Because sometimes it will be too lengthy and all that, and it will have some special characters and all that, so you shouldn't make a mistake. You can copy paste it. Okay. Otherwise, if DOI is there, there's no need to write retrieved on whichever date from so and so. Now, why do we have to write the date? It is because in some websites, the article is available for 3 years. Okay. And after that, it might not be available. So if somebody is reading your article maybe in 2030, and if they are going looking for that article and they don't find it, if you mention the date, they'll, it still gives an authentication. You can still retrieve it. It won't be very difficult. Otherwise, trying to be more transparent, I can say. Okay. Otherwise, if you have the DOI, it's not a problem. You can always mention. That is it. And then these are the references that I've gone through for this study. So again, so here I end the session, and now we are open for discussion. Yeah, missed some punctuation marks. Yeah, no, don't worry. It was a good attempt, Sanjali. I really enjoyed, asking you all to do it, and I'm so happy that you attempted. Because then otherwise it's going to be just you just listen, that goes away. But when you try something, that remains with you for a longer time. And then as you practice, everything is, uh, it's like a puzzle. Once you start working on it, everything falls in place. Yeah. Any questions?
Good evening, ma'am.
Yeah. Very good evening.
The session was very good today.
Thank you
I
so
just
much.
have a question, though not directly related to today's topic, but
Okay.
definitely related to research.
Okay.
Nowadays, it is becoming very difficult for us to identify Scopus journals, which are
Yes.
actually having indexing as well.
Yes.
Because without indexing, a Scopus publication makes no sense.
Yes.
So, could you please help us out with some content? I mean, any journal names or something, because that would help us a lot for our research.
Uh, See, just a minute. I have one more. I forgot to do the presentation, but as I'm doing it, I'll speak to you. See, it is not. Let me put it this way. I would not be the right person to tell you to go for this particular journal or whatever. Most see, they are Q1 journals. I think you are aware of that, Q1, Q2, Q3 journals.
Yes,
There
ma'am.
are some journals which you need to check, because supposing I mention a journal and that has been removed from the list, that becomes a problem. So you will have
Truly.
to check before you submit any of your papers to a journal. Check how long that journal has been there, and then you present, and then you make a submission. There are some journals like IGI Global, India Science. These are all, well known journals. I mean, heavyweight journals, Q1 journals, and there are a lot of options of publication. I usually don't make a payment. I try to see that I don't have to pay. So most of my the articles that I have, it takes a very long time for publication, of course. And we can yeah, somebody's written something. So I don't think that would be the it is advisable for me also to give you the name of one. But yeah, IGI is there for a very long time. I think you can try that, because they have, one is journal, another one is book. You can write ask them to approve a title, and you know how the titles are approved. And then once it is approved, then you can ask researchers to submit their articles, and then it follows a particular procedure. It's quite a long procedure, but it's really worthwhile. That's another way of getting your articles published. Very simple, and not very very complicated. Because sometimes, you send it to 2 3 journals and you wait for quite some time, and then sometimes you tend to forget because you're writing some other article. All that happens. I honestly say, feel that you should be something like cautious enough to go through. And then see, even the UGC care list, you must be observing, they always come up with the
Clone journals.
list every year. Every year they come up with a list. The
Yeah.
reason is
List of
because,
clone journals.
yes, yes, yes. That's the reason. That is the reason. So we have to be very careful. That is why I'm not suggesting much. But recently, IGI, I have just sent one. So that's the reason I just mentioned that. Somebody has mentioned something here.
Thank you, ma'am.
No, no, you're welcome. You're welcome. Somebody. Uh, Ma'am, why can't we have one referencing style for all the journals? Is having different style serves any particular purpose? Yes, I think so, because I'm not the one who can, uh, you know, promote or suggest for one referencing style. It would have been good, but then see, it's like, how we make kheer. Everybody has one different, flavor, a little bit of different flavor. So something I want to have my own individuality, so I come up with my Chicago style is like that. It is made for the students of that university. So anybody in that university working there or studying there or presenting a paper from through that university to their journal has to follow the Chicago style or the Vancouver style. It's like that. So that is the only answer I can give, because it is good to have something common, but that's the reason maybe that APA is the most followed. But you want to have your own, a journal feels we want to be unique or something, they have their own style. And we want our articles to be published, and we feel that that journal has a lot of readership, then we have to follow that style, right? We have no other option. Then ma'am, can you elaborate further on the approval of titles, on what basis it is done? Were you there yesterday, madam Anjali? Oh, you mean to say the approval of titles for Scopus?
Yes, ma'am.
Oh, okay, okay, okay. See, when you are giving a title, I'm talking. You're talking about the Scopus, right? See, what they do is they'll just not approve any title. They'll go to. They have a very stringent way of seeing whether it is, a similar title which is already present. Is it, catchy in nature? Is it relevant? All that is taken into consideration before they approve the title. See, if you are interested in doing that, many of the journals do that. Like I just now gave Dr. Somya her I was answering her question. So IGI Global is one where they they promote a lot of they encourage you to write, they have titles. You can submit a title, and they'll help you or they'll assist you to finalize one. Okay, so the title may be for the book, or it is a list of articles which you can ask your. They'll also help you to, find authors who can contribute to that. So now, since I have been contributing to IGI, anytime a new title comes, I get a direct message, an email asking me if I would like to contribute to that title. And if I've written on a particular title, now I've written something on emotional intelligence, so anybody writing something related to that, their title has been approved, so they become editors, and they will send emails. They'll be given maybe access to the our email ID, so they send us emails personally asking us whether we would like to contribute. So what I'm trying to say is approval of titles is done by the that journal, by that particular publisher. More than the journal, I should say publisher. So that is the meaning of approval of titles. What I spoke yesterday is a different thing. That is title to your topic. That I mistook. So I understand now. I spoke about approval of titles when I showed you that the funnel of how Scopus has so many titles. You suggest a title and how it is all rejected, and due to various reasons, not because we are from a different place or something. No, they have certain criterias based on which the titles are chosen. So if you're choosing a book, a title, to write a title, then you're looking at something which is eye catchy, something. Presently it's all about artificial intelligence, it's about emotional intelligence. So those kind of titles are more eye catchy. People are will read your book, and hence that's the meaning. Book here again doesn't mean you're writing the whole book. You are authoring it. You're authoring an article there, and maybe you have contributions from different people. So supposing Anjali, you are submitting your proposal, and they accept your proposal, that means they have approved your title. Then based on that, you're sending it to different people across different medias, and asking people interested in that, something related to that title, to contribute their article. And then that whole thing, you become the editor for that, and then each chapter is considered as one particular article contributed by different authors. That is how it is. That is how it is happening now.
Ma'am, if that's the case, if you're going to send a manuscript, is it mandatory that we are actually putting the title on one of these websites and finding out if it is a catchy one or not? Is it always mandatory?
See, yesterday I told you, let me put it this way again. When you prepare a dish, okay, you prepare a dish, would you just bring it in that the vessel that you cooked directly onto the dining table?
No, no. Yeah.
So the title is something like that. A title is
Mm.
something how you present your article. See, let me say one more thing. You read a lot of articles, like say you don't have the habit of reading books. Okay, I don't know. I'm just guessing. I'm just saying. So I'm giving you something more which you're more connected to. Say, supposing as you're browsing the internet, you see some eye-catchy headlines, right? So what makes you to go read further?
The title.
Yes,
Yeah.
that's exactly why we have to be very careful about the title, because I
Mhm.
spoke about citation today. So you need citation, right? See, when you dress well and nobody says anything about it, you wonder why nobody even commented on your dress. When it's a new dress, you spend so much of time searching for it. But even if one of your friends says, "Oh, that's such a lovely color that suits you," or something, you feel so happy, isn't it? The
Yep.
same thing happens, it's not a simile, I'm just trying to relate and make it simple. So when I write an article, I would have taken so much of efforts to identify the title, the abstract. You understand what all work goes into it now. Since 2 days we have been discussing.
Yep.
So yesterday we understood about all the method of framing a research article and so on. So after doing all that, referencing, literature review, identifying the research gap, and doing the analysis, all that blah blah, after doing all these things and nobody is reading it, then what is the fun? So you require citation. And how do you get the citation? Only when you attract somebody to read it. How do you attract it? That is the reason why we have the title and the abstract, which has to be very catchy. And the keywords will help the indexing agencies to. So somebody is asking about work-life balance, and you have that mentioned in your keyword. So automatically your article will pop up when somebody is searching for that. So that is why keywords are also very important. I hope I'm making myself clear.
Yes, ma'am.
Have
Very
I
good.
answered? Have I answered your
Yes,
question?
ma'am. Very much. That was a very new insight. Thank you so much for that insight, ma'am.
You're
That's
welcome. You're welcome. And I'm also enjoying all your, participation. It's a learning experience for me as well. And yeah, Anjali, you have written. Okay, thank you so much. Thank you so much. Then Venkatesh, ma'am, can you suggest some of the website where I can get good journals, Scopus papers for references for my topic? I tried Ebisco and others, but I'm not finding many papers. And can we use older papers like 5 years or 10 years? Yes, within 10 is always welcome. And it doesn't mean that you should not read any article which is beyond 10 years. No, that's not the concept. You can always read, because you may need to do a comparative study. It is always good to know what was. Then it becomes easy for you to identify and mention what is or what will be. Okay, your research is going to tell what will be. You're helping people make decisions. You're suggesting decisions based on some justified reasons. Okay, so that is good. Like just now I spoke to Miss Somya, Dr. Somya, and I was telling her the same thing. You will have to go through. See, the most simplest is, you can go to the Scopus website and you will find a list of journals there. You will get a list of journals. You can look for it. Let me before um, I forget, let me show you this article. So it's just a general article, but I'm just trying to show you, the whole paper now, because we have already done the whole thing now. So let us just go through the whole paper. This is the title, and this is when you see the title, you can understand this is an APA format. I think by now you'll know that now. Okay, I hope you understood. So when you have this page, then it is an APA format, you'll understand. Then followed by the title and then the abstract. You can see this abstract. Then when after the abstract, I'm not reading the abstract. After the abstract, See, I've mentioned where it was done and all. I've not mentioned it in the title, but I've mentioned it in the abstract so that it makes it interesting for people to know what has happened there. And then I have the keywords, and it is in an order, so you can understand alphabetical order. E, then I, then inter
Hello.
organizational conflicts, organization effectiveness, and
Hmm.
organization relationship. So you can understand employee productivity, employee relations.
আর না,
So
এক মিনিট,
it
আমি
is
5 মিনিট পরে
E
কথা
comes
বলছি।
first, so
এক
employee
মিনিট পরে কথা
productivity
বলছি।
P, then employee
আমার
retention,
প্রোগ্রাম
so
চলছে, হ্যাঁ, শেষ হয়ে যাবে
PQR.
এখন। দাঁড়া, এক
I
মিনিট।
hope you're getting it. So this is the I put it in an order. Then you have introduction, then the review of literature. See, this is, and see, can you see this insight? Okay, paper citation. So Neena Simha and Neelam Dal 2020. So they investigated the relationship, blah blah, and I know I've gone through that. Then the statement of the research problem, that is based on, or the research gap based on the literature review that I have done. Then the need and significance of the study, the objectives, the scope of the study, then the research methodology. I've identified the hypothesis based on that. Then the research design, data sources, sampling. Then I come to the analysis part where I've chosen the the sampling sample or the respondents, and based on which I've done the analysis. This I have. This is a small formula to show that how I have chosen out of 200 employees. Why did I choose 132? So I'm just justifying the reason, saying that that is a sufficient sample size for me. And then this goes to the analysis, and then I come to the suggestion and conclusion, and then the reference and bibliography. So even if I just mention as reference, that is fine if I don't have a bibliography, or I can also mention as bibliography, which includes both reference and bibliography. As I said, the article, the journal will mention write only references. Sometimes some journals give those kind of instructions, saying that you should mention only the references. That means they're not asking you to mention any of the bibliography that you have referred. They're asking you only for the references, meaning that those what you have taken from other research articles and you have mentioned in your particular paper. So that is the reference. And then this you see, and yeah, another thing I forgot, sorry. Yeah, reference and bibliography, can you see this is in the APA style? Okay, here I have also mentioned DOI and available online ad. Okay, I have not mentioned the date, but it is it depends on the journal that you have chosen. So this is what I wanted to show before the end of the session. That was very important because the whole paper is there now with all what we have shared. So that is it. Then, ma'am, can you share yesterday's slide? I missed some of them. It would be helpful. Yes, yesterday I think. Sir has already shared the lecture. You can listen to that, I guess. So everything is there in that. And yes. Anjali is mentioned. The session's video recording was already, very timely put up. And thank you so much, sir. I appreciate your efforts in ensuring that everything is happening on time.
Ma'am,
Thank you so much. Yes, sir.
ma'am, one more request from some of the
Yes.
participants. If
Yeah.
you can share the PPT, that would
Okay.
be very useful for them. Anyhow, they will have the video recording along with
Uh-huh.
that PPT will be very useful.
Okay.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah, surely, sir. And ma'am, it's in 360 page, can't make out slide. I didn't understand what it meant. Can you please explain? I didn't understand. Ma'am, it's in 360. I didn't understand what you meant by that.
No.
Make out slide. I didn't
Yeah.
understand.
360 means yesterday there was one query on the video recording. I think that
Oh,
recording, that some clarity issue was there, and
oh,
today I'll ensure that it is on HD quality, because the
oh,
quality is
okay.
somewhere it was little poor.
Okay,
I'll take care today.
I
I'll take care.
fine.
Yes.
Okay, okay. I didn't understand that. Okay, okay. Video recording where it is available. Okay. Video recording is available on the the group which has been created by sir. He has created a WhatsApp group, so he has shared it yesterday evening itself. That was shared.
Hello.
Yes.
Yes, ma'am. Good evening.
Very
Ma'am,
good
I
evening.
just have one query
Yeah.
that I suppose like we are not, in the group. We were not
Yeah.
able to join. So I just want that can you please send those recording on the mail ID also? Can we get
Uh,
it?
I don't have the recording with
I'll
me.
do that. I'll do that, ma'am.
Okay,
I'll
okay.
do that. No
Thank
problem.
you. Thank you very
I'll
much.
share the link,
Sure, sir.
YouTube link. Okay,
Sure,
ma'am.
sir. Sure,
Yeah.
sure. Because
Thank you. Thank you.
that session was wonderful. It was
Thank you
really
so much.
wonderful, ma'am. Each and every step, you have clearly explained. So we
Thank you
want
so
to,
much.
we want to go through such sessions, in future also, whenever we are in tough times.
No, no, I think if you start working, you will find it very easy. You
Exactly,
will
ma'am.
be able to.
Exactly.
Practice
And
is
in future
important, so
also. In
that is
future
why
also,
I try to ensure that we have some
yes.
practical session in between.
Exactly, exactly, sure.
Yeah.
And future also, ma'am, in future also, we would like to attend some sessions.
Yes,
Please
yes.
do
I
agree.
think
Yes, ma'am.
Sir keeps on coming up with a lot of MTC
Yeah,
Global keeps coming up with so many.
yes,
So I think your wishes are fulfilled.
yes.
You just have to keep following.
Sure, ma'am, sure.
Yeah,
We will.
and thank you so much for the compliment. I
Yes.
accept it humbly.
Welcome, ma'am. Welcome, ma'am. Good day, ma'am.
Yeah,
Thank you.
yeah. Thank you so much. Shall we call it a day? Is there any other questions? Any queries?
I think, ma'am, it's done.
Yeah,
Thank you so much. So once
you're
again,
welcome.
it's my part of my job. You can say that. Formally conclude the session, the workshop. Thank you so much, all the participants, for your presence yesterday and today, and active participations during these
Yes,
2 days.
exactly.
And thank you, ma'am, being
Thank
the
you, sir.
resource
Thank you, sir,
person.
for the opportunity. To get in touch with
No, no,
such a
no.
lively audience. I'm very happy.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. We'll have some more programs, as Dr. Nimita ma'am also suggested. See,
Sure, sir.
whatever, if someone is good at, I'll request even Nimita ma'am, if she is good at, in some areas, to
Exactly.
come
Why not,
forward.
sir? So I'm very good in spiritual psychology. I'm a practitioner of spiritual psychology. I would like
Oh,
to take a session on shlokas to enhance your persona.
Oh,
okay, ma'am.
wonderful.
Wonderful.
Yes,
So we'll connect. I think that's also very much required today, because it's a very high
exactly.
stressed.
Indian knowledge system, sir.
Yeah, yeah. Indian knowledge system. I think. See, even in our this among the participants, there will be many those who are highly expertise in some or other areas. Probably,
Yes, yes,
please share your experience and expertise area.
exactly.
Definitely, the idea is, no, if I know something, that must spread across for the benefits of
True, 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 true.
everyone. I think that's the way we should move forward.
Yeah, yeah.
And thank you, Dr. Vasanthi ma'am.
Thank
See,
you, sir.
myself
Thank you,
and
sir.
ma'am, we are known each other for a long time. This is
Yes.
the first time, no, I am seeing her. Okay, that too on the screen. We both are from Karnataka. I am from Bangalore, and ma'am is from Mysore.
Yes.
But we could never meet. But
That's why we always
thanks.
say, na, bola sir, ki world is very small, eh?
Yeah, no, I'm basically from Bangalore, settled in Mysore
Okay.
now. But he has given me some opportunities, but
Yeah.
probably we didn't meet personally. But then, as he said, that was not in my mind. And in between, yeah, Mr. Shrikant, thank you so much. I appreciate humbly. I